So let's talk about what's coming for Warhammer 40k from these Warhammer Fest previews. Hello and welcome back to Warspets Tactics, where today I thought we'd talk about the announcement of Warhammer Fest, Games Workshop's week full of previews where they show off a whole bunch of new models, new books, and a few other interesting things. Kind of similar to last year, from this Wednesday to Saturday they're going to be showing off a bunch of models for their games. The previews on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday all started around 5 am, and the Saturday one is 10 am, and they have rather helpfully given us the dates for the actual subject of the previews. It looks like Wednesday is going to be particularly interesting, as that's the one where we're getting to see some new things for 40k. Games Workshop really does quite like to hype up these reveals, saying that they're going to be absolutely enormous and bigger than anything that you've seen in ages. But to be honest, there isn't really many times when they have been showing things off that they haven't said that sort of thing. Certainly last year there's a bit of mixed sentiment as to how much they actually revealed. I felt like when you put it all together it was actually a fair bit of interesting stuff, but maybe the fact that it was spread out over an entire week just made it feel a little bit diluted. Perhaps that's one of the reasons it's condensed over 4 days. Hopefully it means that they actually have a decent amount of content each day. I've got no doubt that it'll at least uncover a few interesting things. I'll certainly be aiming to cover the vast majority of the 40k stuff here on the channel, and I feel quite likely that the Kill Team and Heresy things are also going to be of interest. Now Games Workshop does seem to quite enjoy giving us little teasers as to what sort of things are coming, and also over the last week a few things have leaked early. Between those it does mean that we have a pretty decent idea of what's going to be coming, and one particularly interesting thing was this silhouette of a model that's going to be coming that they teased as the thumbnail for one of their videos. This silhouette's clearly looking like some sort of horrifically mutated demonic thing. An interesting combination of wings, too many legs, what seems to be human limbs jutting out at odd angles, and it looks like the bit protruding at the front is a head on a rather long, weird, elongated neck. It does look quite like the same part from the rumour engine that we had a while back. Perhaps one of the most widespread rumours is that this guy might be one of those new Chaos mutants that's rumoured to be coming alongside the Chaos Space Marine Codex. Supposedly they're going to be really freaky and weird looking, and this looks like it'd certainly fit that bill. Certainly could be something either from Age of Sigmar or one of the specialist games like Warcry though. Just looking at that, there doesn't look like there's anything enormously obvious to set it in the grimdark future, so certainly could be from a specialist game. Perhaps the biggest hint as to what factions are going to actually get focused on though is this great big array of banners, basically teasing us with the icons and heraldry of the models that they're going to be unveiling. Most of these symbols are fairly obvious what factions they're representing, but maybe a couple a bit more ambiguous and less so, and I'd just like to say a quick thank you for Alpala over on the Discord server. Thanks for sharing a bunch of insights that sped up making this video quite a lot. If we go through them a few at a time, then first here we have the Imperial Fist and the Sons of Horus logo. This is definitely relating to the Horus Heresy. I don't think it's anything to do with 40k Imperial Fist sadly, and ties in with the big announcement that we know is coming on Saturday of the launch box for the new Horus Heresy edition. I talked about this box in the last video. Someone leaked pictures of the full contents early, so they posted it on their social media, and it seems like they're going to have a good time making a big deal of it at 10 am on the Saturday. Launching an entire new edition of a game is probably going to be the biggest news out of the entire reveal show. It's also on the same day as their in-person event as well, the one that they were selling tickets for, where you could apparently get a look at these models early. And I've got no doubt that they'll be talking through all the models in the box once more that we've seen in dribs and drabs over on Warhammer Community, and they'll probably show off all the other bits that are coming in the box, probably the Horus Heresy main rulebook and maybe a few accessories. I think perhaps the thing that people will be most keen for is to learn a release date for it. We know the box has been coming for ages, but it would be good to know exactly when it's coming out. I suspect they'll at least touch on some of the new revamped rules for Horus Heresy, which haven't been officially shown off yet, and I feel that likely in addition to the big box reveal, I suspect that we might get some other model reveals or teasers as well. Often when they launch new editions, they'll have the main preview focusing on the launch box, and then just show off quickly some of the other things that might be coming. It seems that in this Horus Heresy range, we are going to be getting a plastic Leviathan Dreadnought, a new Daimos Rhino, and a new Sicaran Battle Tank. I'm sure a lot of people will jump at the chance to get those in plastic. Next up we have a couple of Necromunda ones. This appears to be the main Necromunda symbol, and also the one for the Ash Wastes. Not really a big surprise that Necromunda's being featured. It is scheduled on the Friday, and I guess it makes sense that they'll be releasing more with their new Ash Waste expansion. I suspect that they'll be going through a fair few of the other gangs and expanding them with a few more units. Next, and perhaps some of the more mysterious logos out of the list, are these Kill Team ones. We know that these two banners represent Kill Team because they're in the black and orange heraldry of it. It appears that the symbol on the bottom out of these two is really quite similar to the standard Kill Team logo. I don't know if it might represent an expansion or something like that, and I'll be interested to hear if anyone's got any insights onto the top one. It maybe looks very vaguely chaosy with the spikes and the 8 different points on it. Perhaps could be something fun like Traitor Guard, I guess. There really are a crazy amount of options for Kill Team though. I've seen rumours suggesting that Kazakin might be coming as one, or Harlequins potentially at some stage. Hopefully they'll show off at least some models and not just some rules. The last one was the Chaos Space Marine Legionaries versus the Eldari Corsairs. I feel like they might give us at least some hints as to what's coming in the next Versus box. Moving on, we have a few hints for Age of Sigmar. There's 2 banners for the Age of Sigmar Sylvaneth, so pretty good news for the tree people I suppose. Both this banner and the one that's second from the right. They did also mention in some previous leaks for Age of Sigmar that they're going to be unveiling the Slave to Darkness army book at Warhammer Fest, so it seems most likely that it's going to be mainly Sylvaneth and Chaos for the Thursday preview. Next, and intriguingly, they seem to be pressing on really quite quickly with the Leagues of Votann. We've got a dwarf beardy type symbol on the far right, and another banner done in a very similar style, which I'm not quite as sure what it represents. I guess it could just be a different style of symbol for the same faction. It's kind of interesting that we are going to get more content for the Leagues of Votann quite so soon. I don't know if that implies that they might actually be coming in the somewhat near future, or whether they're just building up hype a really long way in advance. I know certain armies like Demons and Guard aren't going to be too impressed if they do actually release the Squat Codex before theirs in 9th edition. That will be kind of hilarious and unexpected, but I guess whenever they are previewing things, it is going to be an area that people are interested for more information for. We don't really know much about the new leagues yet. They've shown off this one Hearthkin warrior and their stat line, a few small snippets of lore, so basically anything else they decide to give us would be pretty cool. Maybe fleshing out the lore and background a bit more rules like the profile of that gun could be quite fun to find out, and maybe a rough release date. Even just knowing something like likely early 2023 might be helpful, unless they are really coming sooner than that. I think perhaps the most likely thing to be shown off at Warhammer Fest is probably the rest of the Hearthkin Warrior Troop Squad. They've already teased a bunch of silhouettes when they showed the original one, so it does seem pretty likely that they'll be next on the agenda to be revealed. I feel like that's going to be the minimum that they could show off. Maybe if we're lucky we might get something like a character or leader, or maybe even another interesting unit, maybe some squat bikes perhaps. Finally, and long awaited by the followers of the Dark Gods, it does appear that Chaos will be there in force. These 2 banners are slightly different colours, but they do have the heads in the same style, and they look like they're going to be signifying Chaos Space Marines. The one on the left is a bit more of a generic Chaos symbol that could apply to basically anything 40k or fantasy, but the one on the right is most definitely a Heretic Astartes helm. I'd be amazed if they don't announce the Chaos Space Marine Codex at these previews. It seems that the Imperial and Chaos Knights are going to be coming this week, and for some reason we haven't had the announcement of the Chaos Space Marine Codex, despite them already jumping forward to give us model teasers and even rules previews. I feel it's quite likely that we're going to see the official release of the Codex cover, and there have been rumoured to have a fairly major release coming. It seems that this shiny new Daemon print that they had leaked the other day, I feel like that's likely going to be part of the parcel, with some options to make it a bit more 40k related. Otherwise, we've got this small battery of rather horrific looking warp spawn teasers. Supposedly we're getting new updated bikes and possessed, renegade guard and human mutants, some kind of cultist command segment with a standard bearer, and quite possibly a new resculpt of Huron Blackheart to fit in with his new model, and the fact that they've removed both the standard Games Workshop and the Forge World sculpt. I think it would seem most logical that they might show off these ones that they've teased. In combination with that thumbnail that we saw earlier, I feel like we're going to see these weird and twisted human mutants. But just officially unveiling to Chaos Marine players that the long wait is finally coming to an end would certainly be good news for them. So overall, as a quick summary, it would appear that we might be getting the Leagues of Votann and the Chaos Space Marines on Warhammer 40k Day, Sylvaneth and perhaps Slaves for Darkness on the Age of Sigmar Day, a Specialist Games Day where we don't know quite as much solid stuff yet, and then getting the official unboxing of their big launch box for the Horus Heresy on the Saturday, and quite likely with a few other interesting things thrown in. It looks like it's going to be a pretty fun week to cover model news for. I'll of course be covering any major announcements here on the channel, so feel free to subscribe if you'd like to see a bit of discussion of 40k new releases and rules when we get them. I'll hope to see you guys later. Finally, before I go, I'd just like to mention one way in which you can help support the channel and keep these videos coming if you'd like to, and that's the channel's Patreon page, which is down in the video description. Making all the videos do take a fair amount of time and effort, so if you are enjoying regularly, any support is enormously appreciated. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things come next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some really big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.